All right, guys, you are welcome to my channel again. Today, I've got an amazing person on my channel. You all might have seen there's a gentleman. Yes, he's a man that owns a business in this very country, an independent business. And today, I deemed it necessary to bring him on here to share some of these ideas with us on 10 independent business one can set up here in the UK. So, can we just welcome you, our special guest?
Thank you, Chispas, for giving me the opportunity to speak. I appreciate, you are someone that I have always admired and have watched a lot of channels as well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madi, for coming on here today. I sincerely appreciate doing this with you. Despite your busy schedules, and you were able to come on today. So, you have a business in this very country. It's something that is very difficult for a lot of people to wrap their mind around, because we think that it requires so much, but let's just start by asking you some of business ideas one can start up here independently, and manage on their own. I would like to ask, what really inspired you to have your own business in this very country? I mean, starting your own business. What's the inspiration like?
Okay. The inspiration was, I think, it's something I had in me. When I mean something I had, it's something I have always wanted to do. So I was just waiting for the right opportunity to go into it. And I also stayed motivated as well, because one thing with opening a business in this country is that you have to be motivated to do it, because
Okay.
there'll be a lot of negative kickback, and there will be a lot of negative suggestions, especially from your target customers or people that you intend to service. Or if you have a cool head and then decide to go into it with God on your side, you'll be able to get it done. First of all, we have to identify the problem to create a solution. You see, so
Sure.
yeah, so that's one thing with business. If you're unable to identify the problem in that environment, you're not able to create the right solution for them. So that was what motivated us to, choose Stockton and then go into it. And I know we had lots of difficulties, but every day is a new learning process, and we learn new things, and we also, you know, make sure that we don't make the same mistake twice. So that's it.
Okay. Okay. So, what kind of business are you into? I mean, the business you are running.
Okay, so I own an African Caribbean shop where we sell
Wonderful.
just like our normal supermarket back home, where you can get virtually most things that you need for your day-to-day cooking and running of your homes. So that's what we do. I think I am the second person to own such a business in Teesside area. So when I mean second place, I don't mean there are no African shops, but there are African shops, but they are owned by the Asians, you see.
Oh, that's true. In Middlesbrough, yeah.
So they are owned by the Asians. So um, I know we have Bobby and myself and
Yeah.
the women. But back to the original question, there are lots of opportunities for people who wants to go into business. One
Okay.
area to look at will be the hair salon.
Hair
Um,
salon. Okay.
yes, yes. So the reason for that is because um, you begin to notice that a lot of people wants to make their hair, and then they are always looking for where to make their hair. So if somebody who knows how to make hair properly, this is actually a good aspect to go into, either in the
Sure.
Stockton area or in the Middlesbrough area, because one, a lot of families with their kids, nobody has time to start sitting down to, plait their kids' hair and things like that. They can just bring them to the salon. And for the
That's
gents,
true.
yeah, for the gents salon as well. So another one is, which I think, when I was doing my business survey, I happened to speak to some people from the Tees Valley area. One of the things they recommended was drop shipping. Most of us must have heard about drop shipping. If you go on Facebook Market, for example, to buy
Yeah.
some, you see some brand new products, and you click to say, okay, I want to buy it. Somebody will just be on his or her phone to negotiate price with you. And then by the time you agree, the person goes back to the company, for example, and then all of those stuff, the company deliver, and then you pay the company, and then the person gets their commission. So a lot of people do that. A lot of Asians do that. And when I was speaking to them, telling them about trying to open a business, the first thing they suggested was that try drop shipping, because they have lots of mentors that can actually mentor.
Yeah.
That can mentor you, follow you up, coach you up until you become a professional in doing it. So that is one thing that is readily available for those of us in Teesside Valley here. We can actually access it, speak to them. I think they'll be able to train you on it. They sent me a couple of emails, but that was not what I had in mind, to be fair, because I had a different agenda and I was looking towards having a shop other than just selling online. And if you think probably it's difficult to sell face-to-face, drop shipping is another good one to do. So that sells a lot. So the next point I also want to mention is delivery. Now, the reason why, delivery business, delivering things to within the area. Now, take for example, every shop or every African Caribbean shop in Middlesbrough here or Stockton or anywhere, we all rely on some delivery drivers. Now, these drivers, they come from, you name it, London, Manchester, Bradford, every morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, they just come in. They deliver everything we see in Abdul's shop, Bobby's shop. They come, they are Asians. Sometimes they don't own these things. They just go there, buy them, deliver to them, pay them, and they go their way. Now,
that's true.
So it might surprise you to know that, for example, bread, the bakery that supplies us, most of us, the African shop here, some bread. They are currently in Manchester, owned by an African and Nigerian, baking our kind of agege bread. You understand? But surprisingly, the person that supplies the bread to this region is an Asian. So he goes to the man shop, pick up the bread, comes down to Middlesbrough or Teesside area, and then supply and make money from it.
I think most of us Africans, especially Nigerians, we are always interested in office work, white collar job, not really considering how much lucrative having our own business or our own investment, how much more we could. Having an independent stuff we are doing, something that will be fetching us money without having to be answerable to anyone, is something we don't really pay more attention to.
No, we don't, because we are so satisfied with what we get paid. But the truth is, the reason why we are actually looking at it the way we are looking at it is because a lot of stuff are free. For example, you don't have to pay for some, your children education. But if you need to send them to private schools where you have to pay, you realize that the money you are earning is not even enough to do any of that. So we take things lightly, and that's why the Asians, most of them, what they do, I'm not trying to say what they're doing is bad. I'm just trying to give you an example of how proactive they are in things. So if, for example, a Nigerian is baking some bread in, Manchester, and he relies on an Asian to deliver the bread to remote places, that tells you how much the Asian man is making from that business.
Yes, he makes a lot of money.
He makes a lot of money. And he does that every Thursday. He comes around, he supplies myself. Imagine how many shops he supplies in a day, and how much he goes home with. So in a day, he might be making up to 300, 400 profit, and if you do the multiplication, you'll see that he's making a lot of money, and
it's better than working for someone.
Better than working for someone.
His time.
Yeah, so that's one thing. So delivery service could be in any format. It could be in you identifying probably this is what this area need. You know where to get them, you source them, you supply it to everybody, and then people pay, and people will depend so much on you. And the moment people start depending on you for basic things, the more you're getting recognized, the more money you make, because they know that at a certain time. And the good thing about UK business is that everybody walk around your business. So you don't walk around people's business, they walk around your business. So if you tell them you'll be here 10 o'clock, they wait for you 10 o'clock. You don't chase them, they chase you because they want what you have. And that's one thing about, owning a business in this place. And Another thing I also want to mention is if you look at the whole of Middlesbrough, Teesside, up to Darlington, there is no African bakery. So nobody bakes anything. We all depend on those bringing it from Manchester. So which is a very, very bad thing. Now imagine how much you will make if you have to cut off that supply. You know, imagine how much you will make if people will have to eat your bread instead of waiting for those that comes from Manchester. So this is just a way of thinking. You know, a lot of people. The truth is, most Nigerians that are here are all business owners back home. You know, and a lot of them that I have interacted with, you hear things like, "Oh, I was doing this business, and why are you not doing it?" They said, "Oh, I'm not even in. I don't know. I just want to make money." But you were in Nigeria that had a more difficult economy. You excel. You did what you did, and you made a lot of money from it. So here, that is, you know, you have all the machinery, you have all the tools in place. That is even easier to run or manage a business. You know,
Why not start?
why not have it? You know, the whole of Middlesbrough, Teesside, there is no bakery. And we're talking about where you have more than 5,000 Nigerians alone. So imagine what that will do if you have a bakery that produces, even if it's 5,000 bread a day. Another one is cleaning services, you know. So everybody is busy. Everybody, especially those of us from our Nigerian homes, is busy. Have you tried ringing up a cleaning servicing company in the UK to find out when they will come and maybe book an appointment? There's a long wait list.
No, but my friend had, you know.
Yeah, yeah. There's a long wait list because a lot of people need them. Instead of waiting for a cleaner job, instead of applying for a cleaner job, you can actually start up your own cleaning firm. And in fact, there is a franchise that sells for, I think, less than £5,000 or 100. I don't know. Some of them are free of charge, or some you have to pay just to have the name of the franchise, and then you do your business from there.
Okay.
So that's one good thing to look at. And personally, our African homes would prefer an African to come in to clean than an outsider that's coming in to clean.
That's true.
So we are the ones withholding ourselves from. So that is one thing to look at. Cleaning, you know, rendering that service to the neighborhood will go a long way to fetch you any amount of money that you want. Then this might actually surprise you, but I have included them because there is need for it. An African boutique.
African boutique.
Yeah. So what that does is, you know, I know people so much depend on, okay, we can get jeans and chinos, or we can get jacket and things like that. But the truth is, a lot of people, I think the other day on the group chat, we were asking, do you know any tailoring, any tailor that can do my clothes? I know in London area, it's common because there are so many people, you know, they dress a lot more than those of us here. I know a lady that sells this African cap, like, you know, this our traditional cap and things like that. She actually shipped a lot to the UK. She ships from Nigeria to the UK. Most of our customers are based in the UK.
Oh yeah.
And the customers will still have to pay the delivery charge. They will still have to pay whatever they have to pay just to get what she's doing.
What kind of African cap are you talking about?
This red cap, just proper traditional cap. You know, all this cap that our traditional rulers, all these native. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you have one and you bring good stuff, even people will buy from you, because once in a while people want to show where they're from. You see, yeah. So a lot of people will go as far as paying delivery fee, you know, buying it just for them to wear them, you know. So that's one. But then the other one is fintech. I think there are lots of cities, including Teesside, that is, you know, sponsoring people that have good ideas about investing in technology. So it could be web development, it could be anything that has to do with technology. They sponsor you, they give you. I think there is also a technology. I think there's also a visa for those who are into tech. You know, so as a fresh graduate, you want to go into business, you have a good idea of something that can sell technological wise, this is actually a good opportunity. Even the TISA University also have a grant for people like that as well. So you just have
Okay.
to research, and a lot of cities does it, but I'm just saying because I'm conversant with what happens in T-side, so
Yeah.
I know there is a lot of grants for the tech developers and the tech industry. So people who wants to start their business. But the other one I also want to mention is African restaurants and immigration consultant services. So for the African restaurant, everybody likes eating, and a lot of people are
Busy. They don't have time to cook.
yeah, you can go to. Okay, let me give you a practical example. Now, if you walk from the start of Lintrop Road to the end of Lintrop Road, this is the busiest area in Middlesbrough. There is no African takeaway. That speaks volume. So you have TISA University gave about, I think you have about 4,000 students that are Nigerians from TISA Uni, seated opposite Lintop Road, and the whole of that road, there is no African restaurant.
It's sad.
So yeah, it's very sad. It's very sad because you have all the Asian restaurants there competing among themselves. You have all of them. So it's like apart from we being students, we are not relevant on that road. As a hard word to use, but that is just it. Because one, if I'm hungry now and I want to eat something, I either wait for, probably I don't know where to order, but I'll just go with the regular chicken and chips that I can get.
That's the thing. Or pizza, or chicken wraps.
You understand? But then imagine if you know there is an African restaurant that you can actually comfortably walk in, and then that makes life easier for you.
That's
And
true.
I was discussing with a lady, she's an event planner, and she was like, sometimes, things like, she gave me an example of someone that started roasting soya in London, so he was like, oftentimes the guy would just come when there's a small gathering, he will roast soya, everybody will eat their soya. You know how soya sells in Nigeria?
Yeah.
Somebody roasting soya, maybe own a soya shop on Linthrop Road, that will bring a different kind of competition to the existing competitions there. You see,
You're right.
so yeah, so because I was talking to her about Bole, she was like, when there's an event, because she's an event planner, you can, she was like, you can come, put your tents, start roasting Bole, introducing people to Bole, and imagine how Bole sells in Port Harcourt and of every other part of Nigeria. So these things, you may think they take a lot from you, but starting late to letting people know that is your trademark. Oh, you are hosting Bola in every event that is happening around Teesside. People know that there's a Bola unit there for you. In fact, let me tell you something. If you go to, I think, towards Gateshead in Newcastle, you see a small caravan there. Someone serves Nigerian food there. So it's like an open market, but he sells into African jollof rice. And you see loads of people, both Nigerians, Asians, white, queuing up to eat jollof rice. And the truth is, jollof rice is becoming so popular that
I've seen one in London too.
Yeah, everybody's now looking at anywhere you look. Celebrities are beginning to compare, Ghana jollof and Nigerian jollof. It's just going viral, and a lot of them are beginning to think, what is it, jollof rice? Where can I get it? You understand? So that is just what it is, and you never can tell where the break, because everything we are doing here is seeking for breakthrough. So if you don't get your hands dirty, you might not be able to get the kind of reward you want. But African restaurant is one thing to consider, especially in Middlesbrough. African bakery is another thing to consider in Middlesbrough as well. And yeah, fintech have given you the opportunities there as well. So yeah, I don't think I have not covered a lot of things, but there are other businesses that you can go into. But these are little businesses that
All
can
right.
get you.
Thank you. Can I just ask, Any challenges of starting these businesses, especially if, assuming you're starting a hair salon, barbing salon, do you need like what is it called? Will the government do anything for you? I mean, the local council, can they support one financially to set up this business, or you just rent a shop? There you go, you start.
Anybody who wants to go into business, the first thing you have to do is to look at the council, see if there is any help with the council. I think one of the things that I would have benefited from was mentorship, free mentorship, because there are people in the council that will go through everything with you. They will help you negotiate with the landlord. They will help you set up the business in terms of giving you all the moral support. They will look at your flow chart, everything that you have to do. Now, if you don't get them involved on time when you are looking at, or when you have all those plans, it becomes difficult. I think there was a guy I met. He is actually in charge of all the shops in Stockton. So he knows where every vacant shop is in Stockton. So he tells you, okay, this one has been vacant for the past 10 years. This one has been vacant for the past 3 years. So he gives you such information. And then by the time you tell him this is the kind of business you want to do, he'll be able to tell you, I think he'll be able to tell you that he will be able to advise you to say, okay, this business will break through within a short period of time. This business will not break through. These are the disadvantages. So he is like a professional. I met him, I sent him my lease. He read through my lease. He asked some fundamental question that my landlord have to actually clarify in writing. You see, so that is one good help you can get from the council as well. And the other one you can get is, I think there is also a grant. So depending on your kind of business, you can have access to those grants. So if your business is the one that, for example, will employ a lot of people, the council wants to support you with, a lot more money. And I mean, there are opportunities within the council if you,
how much
depending on
are
the
they
area
likely
you
to
are.
support one
My
with?
suggestion.
Yeah. How much is the council likely to
varies. If it's
support
in
one with?
like Middlesbrough Council, I don't think Middlesbrough Council does anything for anybody apart from those in the, what's it called, in the tech industry. So if you are into, you want to develop anything that has to do with fintech, I think there's a grant up to, I think, £10,000 or so. Yeah, so Stockton Council, they do up to, I think they do up to 5,000 for any, they do up to 5,000, but that business has to be in a certain area before you be considered. Yeah. And then they also do 500 for your signpost. So if you own a business in Stockton, you can actually claim £500 to do to paint the front of your shop, to make it look neat. So these are things that are available for people. But the best thing is, if you have any business plans in mind, if you have anything in your mind, try to speak to the council where you want to locate the business, because you'll be amazed how much help they have for you than for you to, oh, you know what, I'm going to show that this alone. No, if you speak to the council, tell the council that this is what you want to do, then the council will be able to say, all right, okay, we'll assist you in this way, we'll assist you in that way, because what they want to do is to make sure that the city remains vibrant. People come to the city, because if there are lots of empty shops in the city, people are beginning to, businesses are leaving, the place will become, I mean, you name it. But if you look at Stockton, for example, I begin to see that there are a lot of shops opening up recently. You see, opening up recently, because people I think they are welcoming, and they are beginning to encourage people to reinvest into the city.
That's great. Can you give us an idea about the cost of renting a shop?
It depends on your landlord. It depends on the what's it called, the town. So if you're in places like Manchester or big cities, you should be paying. Some shops are up to £25,000 a year.
A year, okay.
Yeah, so the bigger the city, the more expensive it is to pay. Well, I think in Stockton, in Middlesbrough area, there's a guy that sells second-hand fridge along Lintop Road. I think after Abdul, you see the guy there. He owns a big shop. Jokingly, I asked him, "Oh, how much do you rent a shop here?" I said, "Oh, it's gone up now. Before I started my shop at £300. So,
oh my, on that busy road.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where the Teesside University is. So it's a busy
Yeah,
place.
so
Lots of
he
African
said he started his
shops.
job at 300, yeah, at £300, and now he's paying for say 800, and that's because he's been there for years.
800 is
Do you
still okay.
understand?
I
So I
was
think
expecting
Lintop Road,
hearing
you're looking at
1,500
least
to
one.
200 pounds.
No, no. If Lintop Road, as busy as that place
Or
is,
more
you should
than
be
that,
sitting
to
at
be
least £1,000
honest.
a
I'm
month.
surprised.
No, 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 1,000. 1,000. The Lintop house. I don't know if you know where
Yeah.
Amaka is. Yeah, the building after Amaka. I think there's some empty shops there. One is going for £650 a month. The big shop that looks like a cafe where people can actually drink tea and things like that.
Okay.
That one is 1,000 a month. So anybody who is looking for a fast food, that can be a starting place for you. But again, you see. So I think once you go down towards Stockton areas, shops are a bit cheaper depending on the
Hmm.
location as well.
All right, Amadi. This is so nice having you on, sharing your ideas, tips on the businesses one can independently run on their own in this very country. I sincerely appreciate your time. Yes, thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me.
Okay. Yeah. Anytime, anytime, whenever you want, just let me know. I can always come on.